Right, hello Anne and Peter and everybody. Today we're starting pastels. This is not new to you, Anne and Peter, but I'm going to go through some of the basic ideas of how you can use a pastel for those people who are absolutely new to it. How many absolutely new people do we have? Oh, right, that's good. It's always good, always good. Right. Right. Here, I thought about the paper. This is Canson Moonstone, which is my preferred paper if I'm not using a velour or a sandpaper. It's good to work on a tinted foundation when you're working with pastel. The only reason you need white for watercolor is it's the reflected light from the white paper that gives you the translucence and the magic. When you're working in pastel's opaque anyway, so if you start off with a mid-tone, it's easier to assess how light or how dark you have to go to get whatever you're doing. So if you're working in anything other than watercolor, a tinted foundation is a great help. Right, the other thing about the paper is it has two sides. One side has got a grid. I haven't got my glasses on, so I can't see which side has a grid, or even with my glasses on. I think this is the smooth side. Yes, because the grid gives you a hit and miss effect. Now, that can give you texture, but the problem with it is that it's a very even grid that is shown on the other side, and that is counterproductive. So I try to use the smooth side when I remember. Point number 2, don't ever use a pencil. You can use a pastel pencil, but not an ordinary pencil on this, because what happens then is that you create a channel. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, or even if I can describe it. I do that. I don't know if it's going to work. No, it's not going to work. If you inscribe with a pencil, this is so soft, the pencil creates a channel, and then you never get the pastel into the channel. So you've always got that line, which is irritating and counterproductive. So you do your drawing with a pastel. You can use pastel pencils, which some people like to work with because you don't get the feel of the pastels on your hand. I find them irritating because the leads are always breaking. Right. But you can draw with them. They're quite good to draw on the surface. Right. You can make various marks with a pastel. You can use it on the side like that, and it doesn't have to cover the ground. You know, if you're putting in the background, half a dozen strokes if you're there. You can use it to make marks. You can use it to create texture if you get the shape of the pastel right. Let me see if I can find one I've done it with. You can never find them when you want them. That's got a bit of a flat edge, you see. So you can get shapes with it that way. If you press it and shiggle it round, you can get quite a sort of vaguely flowery sort of arc. So that again gives you texture. I like to use them so the texture shows, the brush strokes show, unless I'm doing just sort of putting in a background to cover it. You need to cover it because this paper will fade in light. So if you want your masterpieces to last forever, you need to cover the part of the paint, all parts of the painting that are going to show. So, and that's it. That's it. Like I said, if you want dark, medium, and light, then you do need to have dark, medium, and light. You can mix. So if I put it on there, you can mix with your finger if you want. I don't do that very often. I have done it, taught myself to do it in the book. because I just wanted to try it and see. But because I like to show the pastel stroke as part of the picture, I tend not to blend like that. But you can blend by using one pastel on top of another. So if I wanted to put one on top of the other, that is not going to be the same as that. It gives me yet another color. So you can blend them. What it tends to do is to push the stuff on one side. What else to tell you about it? If you are using pastels, if you come here and look at my pastels, you see I've got, I think it's Sago at the moment, in each container, because pastels do collect dust from other pastels. And you'll never keep, all your pastels will turn grey unless you keep them either separated in a box or put them in something like the rice, where the dirt drops through into the rice and you're left with the pastel. Right, okay. So when you go back to your places, I want you to spend a bit of time trying out the pastels and seeing how they work and what you need to do to create your picture. Right.
So what's the difference between a pastel and an oil pastel?
Quite a lot. Quite a lot. If people are using mixed media, they can. Yeah. There's no reason why they shouldn't. But oil pastels demand a different sort of technique. Here you can work lightly and create soft shapes and blend them a little bit more easily. Where oil pastels, you really do need the directional strokes to get the picture to be more dynamic.
I found in the box from my brother-in-law, these oil pastels.
Yes.
I didn't know what they were.
Well, we have worked with oil pastels, I think, once or twice, and I can certainly do it again. You know, to give you the experience.
How do you recognise an oil pastel from a soft pastel?
It says it on the box.
That's it.
No, they do look different. They do. They look oily. They look almost like, you remember the old crayons, the wax crayons you used to have. They look a bit like that. And these are more like, if you like, more like chalk. Yeah. Now you can get hard soft pastels. Yeah. Those little square ones, sticks. And some people like to use them. Mine are all unison pastels, because they make their pastels out of true color. They don't make the darks by adding black. You get a true dark from the pigment, which feels a bit precious, but I think gives you a nicer aspect to the thing. If you're buying pastels, don't buy a starter kit unless it deliberately says landscape colors or portrait colors. Starter kits tend to use bright red, bright yellow, bright blue, bright green, all the colors you don't really use very much because they're attractive to the eye. And people say, "Ooh, lovely, I'd love to use that." And you pick it up and they're useless. So you buy your pastels singly. You know, I want that color, all right, I want green, but I need it light and dark. So I want that one and that one and that one. So you buy your three. Just buy them to go with the picture you're trying to do and add to your collection that way, rather than trying to buy a complete box set. That said, certainly in the past, Unison used to do a landscape set, which were genuinely landscape colors, and a portrait set as well. So you can buy sets, but be careful of the set that you're buying. Right, let's get rid of this then and start on the picture. Picture on the floor is not a good start.
Why do you use soft backgrounds? Do you want a padded board?
Yes, I wanted a padded board because pastel goes on this paper more pleasantly if the board you're working on has got a bit of give in it, because you're actually using pressure. As you do in oil painting, you know, you need something that will respond, if you like. If you're doing watercolor, that you're working, you're not putting pressure on, or that much pressure on. You're barely bending the hairs on the brush, so there's very little pressure. So you don't, having a hard surface underneath is fine. And so a padded surface does give you a better, just a better finish to hang it.
Why the easel?
I like to work upright because the dust drops down. Also, if you're working up here, having worked down there, and it's flat, you get it on your arm, you get it everywhere, and this gets smudged. People do work flat and cover this with a bit of tissue or something like that. It's possible, but I just think it's so much easier. Why give yourself problems when you don't need to? Right, so this is the picture that I'm aiming to do. It doesn't want to stay, does it? Right, there we are. Now, this picture works quite nicely because we've got reddy browns here and greens here, and reds and greens excite each other, make the picture have a more vitality. And there could be orangey colours here with the blue, so that again is going to create this counter change is not that. Conversation, that's a better word, well done. Between the colours. Right, so I'm going to start at the back. I'm going to leave out those two blue doors. I don't know if they're helping. The picture is really the pot and the tree and the chairs. Incidentally, this place sells the best pastel de nata in the world. Right, now then, this is where I have to experiment whether they will help or not. I want a yellow. That's quite a cool yellow. Do I want a cool yellow? Or do I want to move it up? Oh, no. I usually work down here faster, but it's easier here. That's a bit bright. That's the same colour. Oh God, what's that mean? Oh, that's okay. Okay. So we've got some round about here. And it doesn't matter going into what I can work on top of it. So it's not going to create problems. I just need something in the background to tell me that this is background. What's that doing? I think that's a mistake. Okay. So there you are. That's the background done. Great. Now, I always keep what I'm using in a separate box so that when I come back to it another day, I've got my colors that I'm using in this separate box. Okay. Right. Now then, a nice thing to do would be to start working on this bronze thing. Now, what am I going to do? I think I'll start. It's not really light enough. Right, what I'll do for the time being, and then I'll go a little bit darker. Then I'll go a little bit darker. It's a bit fierce. That's a bit better. So, right, so then I'll use the last. Is that a bit fierce? I'll use this one to create the shape. So you can draw with the edge. come across here. Oh, I do like this. And I'm going over the table here because I want to get the pot in. Right, now it's got a bit too adventurous. So not taking that as the finish. It's there, but I think I need to lift that shadow a bit there. I'm going in very lightly to begin with, because the paper has what's called tooth, and if you fill the tooth of the paper with pastel, you can't get more pastel in eventually. It just gets full and it just doesn't go on. So if you work lightly first, you can always go back and strengthen it, because I'm not going to leave it with these little bits of light showing through. That's just to give me an idea of where the pot is and how it works. Okay, so then we're going to go up and down. Right, okay, so we've got, I can't see it, so I better get it in now. There is a it's green. What are you doing in there? It's definitely green. You want green. Well, green wouldn't matter, not desperately. It's so little. So, and of course it's a bit darker up there. Merely an indication that I think this is blue actually. I tell you, life is grim. So you've got those. And they're much darker than that actually, aren't they? It's not good. As usual, I haven't got the colour. We have all these, you know, you never have the colour. That's better. Okay. And the bits that have gone wrong doesn't matter because I can put them right later by doing more on the background. You know, I can push that in there quite easily. It's not going to. I can correct it. It's not a problem. What I'm saying is something here is vaguely. Well, yes, that's right. I've got something wiggly over here. I'm not quite sure what it is. It's as if something else is going in the pot besides the big tree, whatever that is. Right, okay. So we put them on one side and then we can have a bit of fun with the greens. Now, we want to build this up. So we want some idea of the leaves behind. So I'm going to use, it's a bit dark. That really is dark. So, not much better. That's a purple one. That's okay. Okay, that's better. Right. So I'm going to start just by dagging in a dark here, just to get the feeling of the leaves coming down. See, I can work back into that if I want to by pushing the yellow back into it if I want to. So it doesn't matter if they're not the right shape. It's very easy. It's nothing like watercolor, really. Life is so much easier. I just do this one. There's all this to do, but this will give you an idea of how I'm going about it. How we do it. You all right for time?
Yes, we are.
Right. So now I've got a darker green. This is still quite a dark colour, but it's green. So it's suggesting if you like catching leaves on top. These other leaves have been shadowed by the ones that come on top, so they look darker. That's that one. And then I can go on top of that. I'm still using bluey colours because these are, if you like, background leaves, which are coming. Right. Then I can turn over to warmer greens. That's sort of, oh, that is. That's the warmer green. That's a disaster, I think. Yes, that's right. This is a dark, but it's a warmer dark. Right, okay. So again, I'm just putting in bits of this warmer green on top to suggest that the light is catching them a bit differently. Then I think a even lighter still, the sun. Now I've got to think about how the light is catching them. So not all over this time, just putting in a few where the light is catching them. A few going over the top here. The light is catching, and I think I've got is that the same? No. Right, these are very much lighter.
$10.
Right. So by building it through the by using the different colours, that's got more depth. And I just said that's green. Bing, bing, bing. It's green. So I started with a dark colour and advanced the colour. And as you advance the colour, you start to pay more attention to how the leaves are grouped and all the rest of it. So I'm going to do that over all of this bit here. Right. But when you come over here, the leaves are different. I'm not sure I ought to tackle that now. I think that's a separate method. So we'll leave that for the time being. And I'll start to pay a bit of attention to this because I want to get the blues in as well. Okay. It's a sort of grey blue, but I quite like blue. So let's have a nice blue, shall we? It might be a little adventurous. It's the same colour. That's a definite blue. Here is a turquoise. That's turquoise. The bridge I did in the book is a definite blue, and a turquoise, and I bought a lot of turquoise paint, passing to do it, and drown out the pale, the pretty blue. You know the. Well, that's okay. We'll use that. Okay, so I can work on top here now. I know that the tabletop is about there. And it comes to about the middle there. And we've got another light bit here. That's the corner of the thing, right. this. Well, it's turquoise too, right? I think I'll have to go through these blues and find out the blues that I want to use. The lightest captions. That's and then there's this one. The lightest caption on that. And underneath it. I'm definitely going to have to look for blues. That is not a blue.
Looks nice that blue though against the brown.
You like it?
Something wrong with
Yeah.
it.
Okay. I'll give it.
Nobody will know.
I'll know. And there's a sort of streak of light down there. Maybe. Right. These are quite interesting to draw when you get around to it. If you're doing my picture, working out where the wretched legs are, which legs they belong to, and all that kind of thing is quite interesting. Right. So that. That's right there. That's a dark one. Not that dark. Oh, maybe a grey might do. Right, okay. So back here, where are we? There's a dark one coming there. And there's one here, which is dark, and that one is dark. And comes down there. And I've got the right one.
5 minutes.
I think I'm going to have to think it out again. There is a leg here, I think. And there's a leg here, belonging to the table, which I need to sort out. I think this is a work in progress because I can't see. I need to be happy about the colours. I need to fish out the right colours to do what I want to do. However, I put those there for the time being. I'm doing the floor. They've got a sort of grey-white floor. Not sure if I like it. This is the same colour as the paper. So this is going to make it a bit, yeah, don't like that either. It's the same colour as the paper. What's that? Okay, that's a sort of purpley colour. So you can take that as the. Now we've got to think about what this is. That's a sort of creamy colour, isn't it? A nice colour. Have I got one that will do that? That's quite nice. So it's got some kind of reflective light on it here, which makes it a nice warm colour. There. And if I take some of this lighter colour, mixing it in, this is where Capturing light, as is that edge there. But it is so responsive, this this medium, to how you put it on. It's just asks you to work. You know, the picture is practically there, and you've only been on it a little bit of a time. Obviously, it's not finished, but you feel encouraged by it because it's there, and you realise you've got the rest of it to carry on and work with. But you can see the method of working with pastels and how you can work on top of them, how you can work on using the side, or use the pastel to create a shape, or use the pastel to create the texture of the leaves and the other things that are in the picture. The whole thing just works.
Yeah. You know,
Right.
because you've got such a lot of green. Triangle green. You can be tempted to like
Put in a lot of green first.
Yeah.
Probably, yes. It would be fairly easy just to put. I mean, this is a fairly large mass, so that could be put in with the side, and you only work on top of it to get those little twiddly bits.
Okay, less than a minute, so I will close the meeting now.